Shalom. Gotta first see if the sound is clear. Shalom to those that's gonna be watching this live later on. And shalom to the brothers and sisters that's about to eventually get on the live. Shalom, shalom. Just want to make sure the sound is 100% clear. Thank you, love. Yahweh Shemashai Brakatham. Yahweh Shemashai Brakatham. I'm trying to make sure I can hear on my side. Oh, it's clear. It's super clear. Okay. Okay. The water again, love. The water, the water. Appreciate you. I didn't know what the title is because I just got done doing a quick, not a quick lesson. That lesson actually was in an hour, and I had to get that off, trying to get that uploaded. So I didn't know what to get into because my mind is probably running a mile a minute when it comes to thinking of certain things, thoughts, words, things that's going on in the world. So Lord willing, we could be edified today. Lord willing, might use a little bit of chat GBT, right? Wow. Went to go on in time headlines. It says Australia moves closer to cashless society. So I'm gonna show that on the screen real quick. Right here, we just said Australia is moving closer to a cashless society. This was posted today. But before we get into anything, news, precepts, prophecies, dark sayings, parables, I want to give all praises to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit, and the mighty Shalom to the hopeful elect, scattered four corners of the earth, teach his word and believe in his word in the same Spirit and in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Akwat believers in his faith and his truth, but willing that you all can continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent, virtuous wife. But for all of y'all that are true believers of this thing, Lord willing that y'all all continue to endure and be sincere in sound doctrine and in the same spirit. Lord willing, must have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. The title, it's a live outside, live lesson, or if you could say. I chose to do this instead of doing camp. Um, and I said that the scriptures is falling off the pages, and we talking about all of it, all of it, and how they fall off the page is having the understanding. They're being taught. They're being pushed out daily. Not just Genesis chapter 2, Genesis 1. Not just Genesis, Exodus. Not just Exodus, Psalms. Not just Psalms, Isaiah. Not just Isaiah, Ezekiel. Not just Ezekiel, first and second Esdras. Not just first and second Esdras, the Maccabees. Not just first and second Maccabees, Matthew, the Gospel, the letters of Paul. Right? Everything is falling off the pages. Right? So before we get anywhere, I really want to bring this out. That's amazing. We tapped on this app, and it said Australia moves closer to cashless society. Hold on one second. I gotta make sure I send this out real quick. This is good news. Real good news. The MOTB It's closer than brothers believe. So let's get into the verse that I had ready since that's loading. I want to just start off with this real quick. This is Psalms 106, verse 1. I believe I'm gonna read the 7, see where the spirit draws me, or if brothers get on the live and they drop precepts. I'm gonna read this in the NLT. If you follow along, hey, read in the KJV. Verse 7 is what I really want in the NLT, but I'm gonna just read from verse 1 down. So it says, praise Yahweh, give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good. His faithful love endures forever. Who can list the glorious miracles of Yahweh? Who can ever praise him enough? Only the elect. There is joy for those who deal justly with others and always do what is right. Remember me, Yahweh, when you show favor to your people. Come near and rescue me. Let me share in the prosperity of your chosen ones, which is the elect. Let me rejoice in the joy of your people. Let me praise you with those who are your heritage, your inheritance, which is the elect, right? In this side, it's really Israel, but on this side, it's the elect. It says, like our ancestors, we have sinned, we have done wrong, we have acted wickedly, right? This is why Jake is in a state that they in now, right? You have Jake that's in the world, why there's truth, why knowledge is increasing, and they're still doing the shenanigans that they've been doing. But it's all really how Hashem Shai hasn't drawn them to this light. Verse 7. Our ancestors in Egypt were not impressed by Yahweh's miraculous deeds. They soon forgot his many acts of kindness to them. Instead, they rebelled against him at the Red Sea. So even all the way from that time, all the way to this time of Psalms, all the way to the time of the Babylonians, the Persian Medes, when Jake knew, before the falling away, when Jake knew all of this, they wasn't impressed. You know how Jake, we get excited when we see a dunk, when somebody jump over somebody, oh snap. We keep talking about it. Look how Jake is still talking about Rakai, what he did. You okay, bud? Everybody talking about that. The DDG and that, or the baddies. Everybody talking about those things. But now when this falling away came, nobody, they not even oppressed. They don't even care, man. Let me get a precept on that. Why our people don't know? Why they don't care? Right? A lot of us is not reading the Bible. A lot of us think that we know everything. Oh, God is good. God is great. That's all I need to know. No, you need to know more. This is Judges 2 and 10. It says, and also all that generation were gathered unto their fathers, and there arose another generation after them, which knew not Yahweh, nor yet the works he had done for Israel. So we're in a time right now where just because that fallen away, most of Jake don't even know who their father is. Most of Jake don't even know what the heck is going through these scriptures because we was not taught Deuteronomy, the 6th chapter, verse 17. Our parents failed that because their parents failed them and their parents failed them because we see through prophecy, which prophecy is a key. I did a lesson on it. What is a true prophet? Chat GBT. They said a real prophet is not liked and they bring harsh truth, right? They bring raw truth. And the raw truth is bringing things uncut, raw, and direct so that the sheep, which is the elect, can receive it. This ministry is not supposed to be liked by everybody. All these people at this water that's walking past, looking at me, people in their cars smoking their blunts, this truth is not made for everybody to like it. This truth is not beautiful for everybody. It's only beautiful for the elect. It's only beautiful for the elect. So we see our ancestors that was in Egypt were not impressed by Yahweh's miraculous deeds, by the 10 plagues. When you tell Jake that these things happen, oh, show proof. Jake always want to have proof, but let's see what the scriptures say about proof. First, let me get this one of Isaiah. I believe it's 41 and 21. This is Isaiah 41 and 21. It says, produce your cause, saith Yahweh, bring forth your strong reasons, saith the king of Jacob. Right? So just like how this is talking about, saith the king of Jacob, that we supposed to produce our strong reasons, right? Produce our cause, right? The cause of certain things, the reason on why things is. But let's get a better precept that makes it even more plain for us. Let's go to the New Testament. Let's go to 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, in verse 21. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 21. This is what it reads. It is kind of windy, so just bear with me, family. Right? It says, prove all things and hold fast to which is good. Now, me, and starting with the other apostles, the brothers I labor with, and the men under the apostles of Great Millstone, we believe that this word is good. The whole volume, from Genesis to 2nd Maccabees, Genesis to Revelation. So we hold on to it. And what do we have to do? We have to prove all things that's in this word. Wait, nah, brother. Use your opinion. Brother, you a human. Nah. Right? Because we have a high reverence for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We believe that he gave us his word as a banner that's supposed to be a sign to the elect and for the world. But only the elect is going to perceive and get it. Right? This is Isaiah 8 and 20. It says, to the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So if you don't want to hear it, we know damn well there's no light in you. But if somebody teaching, they have to teach according to this word. According to this word. Now, yes, brothers might go get history. They might go chat GBT, something that could be AI to fact check certain things, right? Because even AI is going to search the database for information, right? And it's going to give you that information, right? And of course, sometimes some information might be false. So you got to eat the meat and spit out the bones. And it's supposed to bring us back to the word, bring you back to the word, because this is how we live, right? If Yahushai is the truth, the way, and the life, right? Yahushai was living by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Let's get that in Luke 4 and 4. This is Luke 4 and 4. It says, and Yahushai answered him, saying, it is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of the Most High. Right? We shouldn't be in this world just thinking about the food we gonna eat, the money we make. Right? You want to live off of the words that's coming out of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All these words came from Yahweh to the prophets, man. Either by a dream, by a vision. The Lord sealed your instructions while you were asleep, and then you woke up either starting to write. Jeremiah, he was writing his words down, told Baruch, go teach this in the city. And that king at that time, or that prince at that time, what did he do? He burnt the words of Jeremiah. And then Jeremiah rewrote it and then added more to it. Right? The scriptures is falling off the book. When you go to Daniel, the 12th chapter, the Lord told Daniel to seal the book. Right here alone, everything that we're going through, do you believe? Are you impressed by everything that the Lord has done all the way from Adam all the way to 2025? Let's not be like our forefathers. Let's not be like them. They wasn't impressed by the miraculous deeds that the Heavenly Father has done in the time of when they were fleeing Egypt. And then later on, they soon forgot his many acts of kindness to them. Instead, they rebelled against him at the Red Sea. Our people, our brothers, our forefathers, and sisters, which we are the product of them, right? We rebelled against the Lord. We don't know nothing. Then Yahushua comes in that falling away. Jake don't know nothing, man. 1 Corinthians 1, where it says the wisdom of this world is foolish to Yahweh, man. This wisdom, this education in this world polluted the minds of the men, women, and children of the Israelites, man. Jake don't got faith, but they got faith in an airplane, a pilot they never met. Jake got faith in hair products that they didn't see somebody mix up. And we see these ingredients on there, but who's to say they didn't put something else in there? Just like they found out it was a baby tooth in a chicken nugget. We got faith in these other things, but we don't got faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You think I'm supposed to take you to Africa to show you to show you a bone of an Israelite, to say that the Israelites is real, to say we descend from them? Let me show you something in Jeremiah. The Lord is cold. So cold. This is Jeremiah 8. Ooh, brothers talking about DNA. Where's the verse to back up that thought process? Let me get a DNA test. This is Jeremiah the 8th chapter. It says, "At that time, saith Yahweh, they shall bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, in the bones of the priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem, out of their graves. And they shall spread them before the sun and the moon, and all the hosts of heaven, whom they have loved, and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered, nor be buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth." Wait, so the heathen searched, the Israelites' bones, the kings, the princes, and the people that inhabited the land of Jerusalem. Majority of the northern kingdom came over here. So these heathens dug up our bones. And what was that? That was that right there is a judgment, because even when we go into Genesis, a lot of your forefathers, like Abraham, he bought a grave or a burial where he can bury his dead, or the descendants like Joseph. He got buried with his fathers. Jacob, he got buried with his fathers. Really sit there and think of that. You know, the Lord have given us to lawless enemies because of what we done. The more the more captivity went into, the more we started to forget. That's why when we go into the New Testament, the apostles could not understand what Moses was saying, and they kept saying law, law, law. Yo, this is the man that Moses was speaking about. No, man. And they was thinking about their kingdom on the earth. How the Romans had them feeling all nilly and gritty, feeling all good, feeling all comfortable. We supposed to be fearing Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, right? That's the beginning of wisdom, right? The whole point. What did he say at the top where we was at? When we go to Psalms 106, it said, "Who can utter the mighty acts of Yahweh? Who can show forth all his praise?" Let me look up this word praise. It's in the Hebrew. H48, Salaki. H4 84:16. H84:16.
Psalms H 84:16.
Tehillah. Now, if I go into the alphabet, it might be pronounced a little different, because that's that Yiddish. It says praise, song or a hymn of praise, oration, thanksgiving, act of general or public praise, right? Which the men of the Lord do when they're teaching the word. They're giving the Lord public praise, right? His name. It says renown, celebrate it. Renown means celebrate it. The Lord is celebrated in the public, right? When we look at First Corinthians 4:9, it says that the apostles is a spectacle to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, the angels, and to the world. They're a public show. And what are they doing? They're praising the Lord through the teaching. It said praise, song, or hymn. What song is brother singing? Hold on, we about to go back to that, right? We got to give him praise. Now that the book is open, we got to give Yahweh Hashem Yahushai praise, right? What is it? Psalms 33, verse 3. Psalms 33, verse 3, select the page stuff. It says, sing unto him a new song, play skillfully with a loud noise. Guess what? It's not a new song. To the flesh it is, and to this world it is, because it was a falling away for 350 years plus more. This is a new song. This is strange. Yo, you go tell a YN, a young nigga, yo, man, yo, King, come over, hear this. He'll hear it, and you can tell by his demeanor, he'll listen for a second, but come on, man. Brother, you'll bag a girl, you got a girl smiling, and then you tell her what it is. Hey, look, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I'm gonna deal with you. Hey, it's cool, but look, this is how I move. Oh man, you ain't fun, man. You are strict and all of that. No, man, I'm trying to get salvation. Well, what do you want? We could go to the bed at any time, but when you want a man to lead you to the kingdom, yeah, but yeah, all of our people is dumb, man. They ain't celebrating the Lord, man. They don't care about this new song. 300,000 said Future got the most negative music ever. Why did he say that? Because it's always either about death or drugs, hoes and sluts. And I be bumping that music, but guess what? Half the things he talk about, he don't even do. But our people is so stuck on this provocative shit. But when it comes to real stuff, they can't get it. Because guess what? They don't have that spiritual discernment for this song, right? Another one for praise is fame, glory. It just say him, right? A hymn. And this is what we doing by teaching the word. This is a hymn. So Jake back then, they wasn't impressed by the miraculous deeds of the Lord. By the Lord giving us this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding after 350 years, that is a miracle by the Lord. Really, it was prophesied that it was going to be a falling away. Then it was prophesied by John the Revelator in his vision, being in Patmos, that we were going to be dead from a lower state, from the neck up, in the streets of that spiritual place, Sodom and Egypt, where Yahushua is being crucified. And look at us now. In a place where Yahushua is being crucified, in a place that is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, the word is coming out. The Lord did that. DJ Khaled, where you at? God did. Yahweh Bashim Yahushua did that to fulfill his pleasure. The brother said, greetings from Spain. That's crazy. He's from Spain watching this. Are you reading from the, no, I'm not reading from the Sefer. I'm reading from the KJV. This is what I subscribe with. Actually, just because you said that, let's go to this chat GBT real quick. Just because you just said Sefer, let's look at something. Let's see if this look up the answer. Oh shoot. Is the 1611 KJV older than the Sefer Bible? Hold on 1 second, y'all. Just want to get this confirmation. Okay. The brother said, are you reading from the Sefer? Now, we subscribe to the KJV, the KJV 1611, and we do translation comparison, right? Depending on the delivery of the text. If it takes it away or it adds some other stuff, we don't use it. But just looking, going, asking AI, doing research, yes, the 1611 King James is older than the Sefer Bible. If we was to look at the first edition, it came out in 2015. The 1611 commissioned by King James of England, based on early English translation, Hebrew and Greek, which is the Hebrew is the old, Greek is the new. And the Cephas is modern translation by Sefer Published Group that includes apocryphal and extra biblical books. That sounds good. And it aims to restore names, books that were removed or altered in tradition. And it includes 80 books added, texts like Enoch, Jubilee, and Jasper. So that's what you got in the Sefer. Then let alone, I know the Sefer says Yehuda, Yahuwah or Yehuda. That is modern Hebrew, or we can say Yiddish Hebrew, right? That's not the ancient Hebrew, you know. So yes, we're reading the KJV, which if you was to translate the Lord from the Old Testament, it would take you back. Yes, it would give you Jehovah, but if you study well, especially with the Hebrew alphabet, Tetragrammaton, Salaki if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but the Hebrew alphabet, which I have, and you look at, especially on the blue letter, which they kind of show you the symbols, you can actually line it up and actually get the right name of the Heavenly Father and the Son. Right? So this right here at the top is the ancient Paleo Hebrew that came out before the modern Hebrew that's at the bottom. So even on the blue letter, they use the modern Hebrew symbol. So if we go to the name the Lord in the Old Testament and use the modern Hebrew, the Assyrian Aramaic Hebrew, you'll see that the Lord in all capital, especially following the alphabet of modern Hebrew, is going to say Yahweh. So right there, we know that his name is not Yahuwah. But hey, if you use the Sefer, hey, that's you. That's you. But I would subscribe that brothers and sisters master the KJV. I had to say that, just for edification, right? So where was we, man? Do anybody remember where we was at? Oh, if nobody's gonna say it, I guess I'll just go to this verse then. When we go to, we'll go to Daniel, Daniel, the 12th chapter, because the title of the lesson is "The Pages is Falling Off the Book." Scriptures falling off the book. This is Daniel 12:4. It says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and show the book." This is talking about the Bible. It says, "Even to the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." Knowledge first is going to be increased by Yahweh Shai, right? Because Yahweh Shai is going to sup in our mind, but in the spirit world, Yahweh Shai is opening up the book, the Bible, right? And the Bible is open on the earth through the men of the Lord because he's putting that spirit on you, right? This is the end time right now. The end time really started when Yahweh Shai first touched the earth, when he came here first, right? When he did his ministry. And when he went to the Father, that was definitely the end time. We were always in the end. When Yahweh Shai came, we were always in the end. But furthermore, we're in the end because after the falling away, now what was next? The man of sin, the son of perdition, was supposed to be revealed. He wasn't truly revealed in the time of the apostles until later on, until Rome fell, then the rebirth, and then now after that 350 years in Revelations, the 11th chapter, now the man of sin, the son of perdition, is being revealed. The books is open. The book's so open. It's like this. The book is open. How the wind, I like how I just leave my Bible open. Let's see if the wind would do it. It might not do it. But just say if the pages was just to move over, the pages is falling off, man. In the minute of the Lord is prophesying, shaking the hand against Mount Seir. There we go. That's one. That's one page right there. Just to show you, they shaking their hand to Mount Seir. It just shows that Second Ezra 2 is in act is active right now. What is it? This is Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it, and say unto it, Thus saith Yahweh by Shem Yahushai power, behold, Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Right? Ezekiel is the example of 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 the elect teachers, and what they were doing back then, we're doing now. Right? So if he is the example, judgment on Mount Seir, this is for a future event. right, to rebuke Jeremiah. Through the Spirit, he was shaking the hand about Mount Seir, Obadiah. But a lot of those things wasn't going to be in full effect until they ruled in the Greek Empire, the Roman Empire. But when we look at these prophecies, they're going to be destroyed for the things that they have done. They're going to be brought low as slaves for the things that they have done. Yes, they had that judgment like Malachi, where they were high, and then they started to go into the caves. But then they came back to rebuild the desolate places, because the judgment that was said through these prophets is like a twofold. We got moments when this happened, but it wasn't fully fulfilled until this time, right? So we're shaking the hand on Esau right now, forevermore, right? Shaking the hand to Esau, right? First, we shaking it by revealing who he is, revealing his lies. He's not the Jews. He's not. Let alone where show me a Juju being out teaching about Ephraim and all the other northern kingdoms. I heard one Juju being saying it's no more northern kingdom. I don't know if they still believe in that. But if we go into prophecy, Yahushai through the Spirit is bringing back the two kingdoms so that they can be one. That's Ezekiel 37. Right? Again, the pages is falling off, man. Mount Esau being revealed. You can go to ChatGPT. Anybody in the comment section can ask a question that's a biblical question, and we can go to ChatGPT, man. Esau's being revealed. What else? What else is happening, man? Right? Let's just see if somebody, even asks. Let me get this in Romans. Let's get the classic. Because what Paul was saying, right? This is for all Israelites. And look, Israelites they're still on the earth, man. This is Romans. I'm getting a classic that we always bring out. Romans 15:4. Romans 15:4. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So what we just read in Psalms 106, that was written for our learning, for me to know that our people wasn't impressed by the things that the Lord did through Moses in the time of the Egyptians. Oh, okay, that's for my learning. You know what? I don't want to be there. In the same time of Jeremiah, the time of Elijah, the time of Isaiah, the time of Hezekiah, when the Lord sent down that angel, the angel came on behalf of the children of Israel and killed 185,000 Assyrians. All these things was written for our learning, to build up your faith, to build up your character, right? To the things of the order from the elders, right? The major prophets, the minor prophets. So when Yahushua left gifts, the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, the bishops of his word. Now, since this was written for our learning, now when you come in this truth, you hear somebody saying the apostles, prophets, evangelists, teachers. Now, what do these scriptures tell us? We got to examine. If we examine ourselves, right? The scripture even said we're going to know who our prophets is, because they're not going to be hiding in the corner anymore. Scriptures is falling off the page. How is the scripture saying that we're going to know who the prophets is? They're not going to be hid away in a corner, because the scriptures is falling off. Now Jake has spiritual eyes, man. Right? What is that? 1 Corinthians 2:14. 1 Corinthians 2:14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. Everything that I'm saying from this Psalms 106, verse 1 to 7, dealing with how, verse 7, that our ancestors wasn't impressed with the Lord did in the time of Egypt. Then, even showing that Romans 15:4, the things that written aforetime was written for our learning. And now, not all Jake is learning. And it goes back to that verse 7 in Psalms 106. Our people is not impressed, because if they were impressed, what do you do? Let me ask this question on Google. You know what? I can go to another search engine. So like I want to just get this. Okay, I asked this question. I said, when someone is impressed by something or someone, what does that mean? When someone is impressed by something or someone, it means they feel a strong sense of admiration, respect, amazement due to a quality, ability, or action that stands out to them. Example, if someone says, I'm really impressed by your speech, it means they thought her speech was um, exceptionally good, perhaps because it was well written, um, emotionally powerful, persuasive. If someone is impressed by a painting, they might be reacting to its beauty, technique, or originality. Being impressed usually involves positive uh, surprise, recognition of skill, effort, value, a sense that something is above average or noteworthy, right? So somebody is impressed at something, the quality of the amazement. So if we saying back then they wasn't amazed at what the Lord did, let's look at Jake now, man. We could see Kodak back. He heard that he was an Israelite. If he was truly amazed, he would be moved. Kanye, he said, man, we're the real Jews, right? We're the real Jews. They're not. If he was so amazing, he knew that that was real. Why he's not changing? He just waxing worse and worse. Cause you ain't truly amazed. The elect convert themselves. Let's get Romans, right? To be amazed, you should be converted. Oh man, this is the truth. Oh man, we is the people. Then you're gonna go hard for it. That's why I said we don't want to be them. You don't want to be like your forefathers, not amazed on the miracles the Lord did. That was a great miracle. Look at the little things the Lord doing by the knowledge increasing on this side, man. Let me get this before I forget it. Romans 12 in verse 2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, right? Don't copy the behaviors of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable, perfect will of God. How do you let your mind be transformed? By letting the Lord transform your mind. Wait, hold on, bro. We got free will. No, you don't. Because in order for you to be converted, that goes back to St. John 6 and 44. The Lord Yahweh has to draw you to Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai is going to raise you up. No free will, because the Lord is changing your mind, right? Let me go back to First Thessalonians, I believe, the 5th chapter. Abstain from all appearances of evil. Is that what I want? I think that's what I want. I think that is what I want. Yes, verse 22. It said, abstain from all appearances of evil. How do we do that? By having a transformed mind, not being conformed to the behaviors of this world, but by allowing the Lord to renew us. Wait, how do you renew your mind, brother? Yes, now when your mind is renewed, guess what happened? You start to believe. Literally, the smallest belief. You believe you breathe air. Yeah, you do. Who created it? Now, some fool, well, science and algebra and chemistry, this and this and that. Now, why you ain't bringing me to Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai? Oh, science don't prove that they're real. Then how the hell humans get here? By evolution, by a comet coming here. So you telling me a comet came and made people? This is the greatest mystery that was hidden, man. First, hidden in the hidden of Yahushai, but how things exist. Let me go to one of the most wisest in the earth. Let's see how he speak about certain things. Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter. And no. Let me not start at the beginning, because that's gonna have us go to a whole nother point. we will be here because I got time. I got time today. Where do I want to start at? Boom. I'm gonna start at verse 14. I believe that this will be even better in the GNT. But this is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 14. For she is a treasure, talking about wisdom, unto men that never faileth, which is the elect, which they that used become the friends of the Most High, being commended for the gifts that come from learning. Wait, how do you become a friend of the Lord? We're gonna go back to 15, but how do you become a friend of the Lord? Drop it down to verse 27. It says, in being but one, she can do all things. This is talking about wisdom. And remaineth in herself, she maketh all things new. If you don't make your mind conform to this world, but transform, basically you get your mind renewed by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says, in all ages entering into holy souls, she maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. Wait, hold on. If you become friends of the Most High, Salaki, we're going to come back to Wisdom of Solomon. We're just trying to line it up. From the first verse that we went to, we're trying to line it up. Lord willing, you staying with me. Right? This is St. John chapter 15, and I'm going to start at 12. It says, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love have no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. We know in Mark 3:35, whoever do the will of my Father is my brother, mother, and sister. We know in Proverbs it says, a friend stick closer than a brother. And then, verse 15, he says, henceforth I call you not servants, for the servants knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all things I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. How? Because he was teaching them. But now they're going to fully get the understanding when he goes to the Father and he's filled with the Rakak Radash. So we friends of the Lord, man. Right? Let me get that verse, man. Right? If you're a friend of the Lord, you become a prophet. So wisdom will make you a friend. But it said it enter in all ages. It says in all ages entering to holy souls. Yo, son, look at him. If he in his faith, lo, when he are the elect, wisdom in a small sample entered your son. He's a holy vessel. Your daughter, a small sample. Of course, she's not like none of the men of the Lord, but she has that wisdom, that spirit of wisdom in her. Because if you are a believer in this thing, it makes you a friend of the Lord and a prophet, right? So you got brothers that's not teaching. You're a friend of the Lord. Now we know the servants, those that are prophets, are a friend of the Lord too, because it comes from the same spirit. We know in First Corinthians is one church, right? One God, one faith, one spirit. It doesn't matter if you give exhortation, you a giver, you do charity, you prophesy. It all comes from one spirit, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So if wisdom make you a friend or a prophet, it's still of the same spirit, man. So that's amazing. Look at your babies, man. If they're growing in this faith, they have a Holy Spirit, because it says wisdom enters into a holy soul. Right? Let's read that again. Wisdom of Solomon 7:27. And being but one, she can do all things and remain in herself. She maketh all things new, in all ages entering into holy souls. She maketh them friends of the Most High and prophets. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. Right? So look at, like, for brothers and sisters that's always watching videos, right? That got your feet where wisdom is actually being taught. What does it say in Proverbs 1:21? Wisdom crieth in the streets. You know, she utter her voice. If you're listening to the words through the spirit, the Lord loveth him that dwell with wisdom. First, the Lord is dealing with men, but how much even for you women? We know women is the weaker vessel. We know the Lord is dealing with a woman in a lower position in this thing. But if you in this faith and you believe, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, you out of nowhere, you keep seeing 144. You think of numbers and you always at 144. Don't you know you talking about the elect? What is doing that? That wisdom that's in you. You a holy soul, man. That's comfort. I'm not saying we the elect. Lord willing, we are the hopeful elect. But those is that encouragement that the Lord gives you, man. Right? Let's go back. I'm a little excited, okay? Please bear with me. I'm excited, man. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 15. It says, the most I have granted me to speak as I would, and to conceive as it is meet for the things that are given me, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise. Wait, hold on. He lead the wisdom, he direct the wise. Remember that. Hold on. Let me get something real quick. Wait, he leadeth to wisdom and he directeth the wise. Right? Hold on. Let me get the precepts on it, even though we know them by heart. Let's get these ones. Let's get these ones. You want Proverbs 20, verse 24. Man's going are of Yahweh. How can a man then understand his own way? Now I'm in this thing. I know it's not me. It's all the Lord. If chastisement comes, it's all the Lord. Right? If I go through an obstacle, it's the Lord leading me in that obstacle. Or it could be the left-hand side that's of Yahweh that's trapped in me in a certain situation I'm dealing with. Or where my mind frame is at. You know what? He's thinking of that. Let me entertain that thought. To see am I gonna overcome? Now that I'm in that, am I gonna lose the faith? Am I gonna walk out of this? Am I gonna call on the Lord? Am I gonna get back up and repent to Yahweh Shemel Shai? Man's going to the Lord. Now a normal man is not gonna understand, man. Oh, I did this today. Oh, I'm over here today. You're not gonna understand, right? Like one day, me and the brothers was at the water at the harbor, and we was teaching that we was going into the precept where it says people was trying to seek death and won't find it. Some Edomite came up and said, man, I lost millions of dollars like in investments. I think gambling. I mean, investments is kind of gambling. And he said, I tried to take my life. We was like, man, yeah, for real? He said, I could show you the scars. He lifted up his arm and showed scars. Now, some of them scars look like he was shooting himself with a needle, but he had cut wounds. He said, man, I just could not die. And that was just amazing. And then we trying to tell him, yo, that was all the Lord. But who's to say if he was a Jake or not? You know, he had millions. And how he was moving, most likely you might be a damn Edomite, you know? But look how the Lord manifests that. He didn't even understand what was going on. But he kind of explained it why he did it. He just didn't understand why at this moment you came to us. And now we was just bringing out this verse just to make that live edifying. Anybody that watched that live on the 716 Israelite channel, anybody that watched that live, they had to be edified on that moment that brothers was just saying that people are going to seek death and won't find it. And this man was trying to kill himself and couldn't find death. The spirit is amazing, man. Let me get the other one in Proverbs 16, because it says, he leadeth to wisdom. Wait, hold on. What did it say again? He said, it is he that leadeth unto wisdom and directeth the wise. Ooh. Wait. I just got another one in my head. Let me get this one first. It's Proverbs 16 and 9. It says, a man heart deviseth his ways, but Yahweh direct his steps. Hold on. Yahweh direct his steps. So it says, it is he that leadeth unto wisdom. First, who is wisdom? Let's make wisdom a physical character. Who is wisdom? Do anybody know? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 24. It says, but unto them which are called both Jews and Greeks, Hamashiach, the power of the Most High, in the wisdom of the Most High. So Yahweh Shai is the wisdom. Yahweh Shai is the wisdom. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 15, it said, it is he that leadeth unto wisdom. So Yahweh Shai is wisdom. Remember that. Who is wisdom? Yahweh Shai. The Lord leadeth him to wisdom. Let's see if they gonna get this. This is St. John 6 and 44. quoted it earlier. It says, no man can come to me except the Father which have sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last days. The Father draws you to the Son. Wisdom of Solomon, Wisdom of Solomon 15, Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 15. It is he that leadeth unto wisdom. We just read in St. John 6 and 44, the Heavenly Father draw you to the Son, and Yahweh Shai raise you up. Wisdom of Solomon 7, he said, because it is he that leadeth unto wisdom. So Yahweh is leading us to Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai is raising us up in the last days, and directive the wise, for in his hand are both we and our words. No free will. It's us and our words in the hands of Yahweh. He got the world in his hand, right? The elect is in his hand, right? The non-elect is in his hand. The all these nations is in his hands. And your words that come out, right? Like what it says in 2 Peter's 1, verse 19 down, that these words did not come in any private interpretation, but they were moved by the Rakah Quadash, the Holy Spirit of the Most High. That's why these words came out, because your words is in the hands of Yahweh, right? When you go to Job 33, verse 14 to 17, right? The Lord speaketh once, speaketh twice, but he seal your instructions when you sleep in a dream or a vision. And then you wake up and you act out those instructions. The Lord is a bad man, Majama. Now I understand that song. He's a bad man, Majama. Right? Come on. It's back to Wisdom Psalm 7:16. For in his hand are both we and our words. All wisdom also. Knowledge of workmanship. For he hath given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made and the operation of the elements, the beginning, ending, and midst of the times. Don't it say in 2 Ezra 9, measure out the times? But through the Spirit, Solomon knew the beginning, he knew the end, in the midst of times, the alteration of the turning of the sun, in the changing of seasons, the natures of living creatures, the furies of wild beasts, the violence of the winds, in the reasoning of men, the diversities of plants, and virtues of roots, and all such things as are either secret or manifest, them I know. And it's a lot of things in the scriptures that's a secret that, a lot of us don't know. A lot of us know we prophesy in part, right? But Solomon had all the wisdom of the Lord, and through the Spirit, he was Yahweh Shai. So imagine where his mind frame was at, right? Just like what Yarmayan said at work. Solomon had 1,000 wives. You got to think those women looked at Solomon like he was pressured. Let alone this was not the kingdom in the world. That was just the kingdom of Israel. All the women, only bad thing was that his heathen wives drew his heart away from the Lord. Israel was following the ways of the Lord. It wasn't the Israelite women. It was his concubine wives that drew his heart away from the Lord. But all those women was with him and didn't have emulation. Jealous. Oh, you with her? He was picking a week be with a woman for a day. I'm going to be with you for 2 days. I'm going to be with you for a week. None of them was getting mad. Oh, you with her for 1 day. You with her for 5 days. As long as that first wife her wifely duties wasn't diminishing. Right? She was still getting touched, but it was order. This man had wisdom to deal with all of them. He had wisdom to deal with his kingdom. He was having riches. When you go to Ecclesiastes, he said it was all vanity. That's how far his wisdom went. He knew having all these women was vanity. Because guess what? A lot of times women would take you away from your purpose. He had all this wealth. Vanity. Because then you get swallowed up by this riches. Having power. Vanity. Because then you get too puffed up. Making pools. Having all different type of animals. Vanity. Because now you got more distractions. Now when we look at this ministry even more, like Paul said, It was better than a man was single or didn't touch a woman like Paul. Not saying he was a virgin. It's just when he came in his ministry, he didn't care about no woman. Why is he saying that? Oh, he was speaking carnal. Why would he say that? That wasn't of the Lord. Yes, he was speaking through the Spirit because he was definitely speaking through the Spirit because he knew as a man, especially if you called to teach, a woman would take you away from that fire. You know, like the one brother said, Elder Yashawambo in the video yesterday, he said, sometimes the men of the Lord will wake up angry, and your wife, your girl might not know, oh, babe, what's wrong? Can I do anything? You're like, nah, I'm good. And then she'll just be puffed up in the head thinking she did something. But she would never understand that your mind is always on the go, thinking of the state of your friend, the brothers you labor with, the state of another brother. Then you thinking of this truth, you thinking of this flesh. You examining your household, and it's just hitting you. You like, yo, love, I'm about to go out. And just you going out, you can breathe. Like when I'm around my brothers, I can let loose more. I can say stuff, and I can get feedback in the scriptures. Most of the time, I'm not trying to hear my wives bring out 4 or 5 scriptures, 20 scriptures. Yeah, it's fire that they know. But at the end of the day, man, you know what? I want a sandwich. Shut up. I want a sandwich. You know what? Go put lotion on. Let me see your body shine. You know, because you don't even want your wife puffed up. But at the end of the day, you know, women don't know the state of the men. The men got to know the state of the flock. They got to know the state of their household. You know, then you got to pop out of that reality and go to work, be at work, think of a lesson. Then when you're doing a lesson, you want to make sure you're doing it right. Like now, I'm even more trying to pray to the Lord that I'm actually bringing forth sound doctrine and, you know, trying to bring up something new. Fuck that spirit. I don't want to teach nothing new. The doctrine is already here. Already the Lord established through the elder apostles on down, man. A great millstone. I don't need nothing new. Right? But it's a lot on the men of the Lord's shoulders. This is why even more the scriptures is falling off the pages. But this is why the men of the Lord is happy. Like right now, we're closer than ever to our kingdom, man. It is closer. Right before when we started alive, I clicked end time headlines. The first article that popped up, it said Australia is closer to a cashless society starting July 11th. They got even closer. How is that, Sway? I'm not even going into articles. I was waiting for the light to boot up. I clicked it in the first article. Let me show you. Let's make Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai true and every man a liar. I'm going to close the app. I'm going to reopen it. Right here. Right there. Australia is moving closer to cashless society, man. First article when I first got on the live, man. We closer because this is leading to the MOTV that Jake don't even see. It says Australia is making a significant stride in its transition in the digital economy. Recent developments indicate that the country is edging closer to becoming a cashless society. Major banks in Australia have announced plans to phase out certain cash services. Guess what? One of those is going to be America. Look, the pages is falling off. Let me show you a video I was listening. This is all through the spirit, man. How I was listening to this lesson at work. And I said, you know what? I might just screen record that brother's lesson. And I didn't even know what I was going to even bring out in this live. Let me get to it. It's the brother GMS in Rome, Lions of Fire. The title of this lesson says, Trump says America is in trouble. So I'm about to play this and I'm going to ask y'all, can y'all hear it? Now, we taking a turn, but this is still lining up. From the beginning, we were showing that from Psalms 106, verse 1 to 7, that Israel was not impressed by the miraculous miracles or deeds that the Lord has did in the time of Egypt, right? We were going into that same mindset is even with Jake now, where they don't even care what's going on. And really, who is those that don't care? Those that are not of the elect. And those of the elect, the things that are written was written for our learning. Who is not trying to learn? The 2/3. Those that is in Christianity that's not coming out of it. Right? We went to those things. We went to um prove all things and hold fast to which is good, and to know that these miracles is real, to know what the Lord is going to do, right? To know who's the man of sin, to reveal him, we have to go through the scriptures. If they not speaking according to this word, there's no light in them. The whole time we've been in the Bible. So we're lining it up. And then we just said that we're closer to the end. We read in Wisdom of Solomon, wisdom getteth to the kingdom. So this is wisdom which leads you to the scriptures to say, okay, how are we getting closer to the kingdom, brother? So we speak about the MOTB. I didn't even go to the verse, and I just said the first thing I clicked on when I went to end time headlines when I started this live was Australia is closer to cashless society, and they're trying to stem away from all services of cash. Now we're up to date to everything that was basically said. Pay attention. Can you guys hear this?
BRICS was set up to
Can y'all hear that?
generate our dollar.
Can I get a one in the chat, please?
Take it off. It's the standard.
I'm asking.
And that's okay.
Can I get a one in the chat if you can hear this?
So anybody that's in BRICS is getting it.
Can you hear what Donald Trump is saying? Can I get a one in the chat? And I'll just replay it. Thank you. A lot of love. Appreciate it. Somebody. So I'm about to play it. Just listen.
10% charge. BRICS is not, in my opinion, not a serious threat. But what they're trying to do is destroy the dollar so that another country can take over and be the standard. And we're not going to lose the standard at any time. If you have a smart president, you will never lose the standard. If you have a stupid president like the last one, you would lose the standard. You wouldn't have the dollar as you. And if we lost the world standard dollar, that would be like losing a war, a major world war. We would not be the same country any longer. We're not going to let that happen. The dollar, you ever hear the expression, dollar is king? The dollar is king. We're going to keep it that way, okay? BRICS is the most organized global manifestation. And that's why it's important to take note of the annual meeting they just had in Rio. And the fact that they are bigger than they have ever been before, that they're doing more trade with one another than they ever did before, that they're borrowing money and making investments in one another more than they ever did before. And all of that is happening outside of and out from under the control, the domination of the United States.
Woo! Shalom, love. Yes, you are definitely right. So again, Australia said major banks in Australia have announced plans to phase out certain cash services. That's the sign that we're closer, because now it's a race for cashless society. But America, or the beast, is going to beat all these nations, because when this dollar collapsed, if America is totally out of power, all this thing's supposed to ravel up to be fulfilled. But the Lord has to bring in the MOTB and the beast, starting with, of course, America being the head. They're going to push this MOTB four corners of the earth. Is going to be forced, and this is no way else, because they don't want, Donald Trump don't want nobody to be the head of the earth. He even said that all the other nations, if their dollar is the greatest, that they think that they're going to be they basically like China think that they're going to be up next if America fall. I want to show something. Let's go ask ChatGPT 123. Let's go ask ChatGPT. We want to ask ChatGPT. Is it a race for cashless Slovakia? For cashless society? Yo, it said, I asked the question, I said, is it a race for cashless society? It responded and said, yes, in many ways. It is a race towards a cashless society, but it's not a simple or universally synced one. Different countries and sectors are moving at vari- uh, varying speeds, driving by a mix of technology, policy, consumer behavior, and economic goals. Who's leading the race? Some countries are far ahead. Sweden often cities as the closest to being cashless. As of recent years, less than 10% of transactions are done in cash. 10%. 10%, buddy Skipper Rooney, right? I mean, 90, I believe 90% is digital. It says many businesses no longer accepted China. A massive leapfrog straight into mobile payments with L Pay, WeChat Pay dominating daily life, even in rural areas. India big push after demonization in 2016 with UPI, Unified Payment Interface, revolutionized digital payments. South Korea and Norway also high adapters of digital payments. Meanwhile, countries like Germany, Japan still see strong consumer preference for cash. What's driving the race? Convenience. Digital payments are faster, easier, and trackable, which is true. Go buy some on Amazon. Go buy something on TikTok. They do give you the information. You can go UPS, FedEx, and stuff. And there's other ones too. It says government incentives to reduce black money, improve tax compliance, and increase financial transparency. Technological interfraction, mobile networks, smartphones, payments, apps make digital adoption possible. Right now, y'all can go buy me a stick of gum right online. You can buy me a whole pack. You know what I'm saying? It says the Sea Biscuit. You know what the Sea Biscuit? Just get your arm up and go like, Q. Sea Biscuit accelerated the trend by discouraging physical contact and pushing online commerce. That shows that that was an experiment. That was an experiment to bring forth from that digital. I mean, when you don't want physical contact, 6 feet, and he was like, "Man, I'm getting sick and tired of going somewhere with a mask." They even said that the percentage of buying online went up when the Seabiscuit came out. Let's go ask. Oh, that just went off. That went off. We had the information. It just went off. So we got to keep it moving then. What we go? Oh, we gonna ask. When the Sea Biscuit came in 2020, did online sales go up? When the Sea Biscuit came in 2020, did online sales go up? It says yes, online sales went up significantly up when the Sea Biscuit 19 hit in 2020. Here's why. Due to lockdown, social distancing, and in the closure of physical stores, people shifted rapidly to online shopping for essential like groceries. Didn't they? They started making more apps for buying groceries online. Uh, Household supplies, electronics, clothing, fitness equipment, entertainment, video games, streaming, subscription. This pushed streaming even more. They is slick. U.S. E-commerce sales grew by 32.4% in 2020 compared to 2019. U.S. Central Barrel. Amazon saw its revenue increase by amount 38% in 2020 with huge growth in categories like grocery and home foods. Walmart's online sales increased by 79% in Q2, quarter two, I believe, in 2020. The pandemic accelerated the shift to e-commerce by several years, forcing both consumers and businesses to adapt quickly to digital platforms. Look at what everybody doing on TikTok, promoting stuff on TikTok. Oh, yo, you can go right here, da 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 da. And people getting they're getting commission sales online. People are doing more. People are getting more jobs sitting at home on TikTok, viewing clothes, shoes, just talking to people, just sitting there. On digital, we're going more digital. If you didn't think Terminator up, that's a note. I think on my vacation, I think I'm about to get back to watching Terminator and all that. Right? We're getting close to this moment, man. Right now, I can go even more to say what is AI and humans. Um, are they going to combine AI and humans together? Right? Prophecies is speaking, man. Let me get this in Jeremiah the Classic, man. Did y'all just see what Chat GBT is saying? Y'all probably wasn't even listening, man. That's crazy, man. Like I said before we went to Chat GBT, we're even more closer to the end. We're closer to that kingdom. Like my other love said, Yahweh Shai, we're closer to Yahweh Shai coming. He said, I can smell it in the air. We're closer, man. This is Jeremiah 28 in verse 7. It says, Nevertheless, hear thou now this word that I speak in thy ears, in the ears of all the people. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. And we're doing the same thing, speaking against Esau, because when it comes to this AI, it's Esau and the other nations. Esau is the end of the world, so he's going to be the reason why all you nations lose your power. He's the end of the world. That's why for Esau to get destroyed, he got to be revealed. For Yahweh Shai to come, Esau got to get revealed, and these prophecies have to be fulfilled. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Right? Let's get in there. Um, let's see if they're gonna answer this. Just wanna I'm sifting around. So when we look at Daniel 12 and 4, what we brought out earlier, it says, but you, Daniel, shut up the words, which is the Bible, seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Now, when we go even deeper with this, knowledge is going to increase because of the technology advancement, right? AI and technology is a part of the explosion of knowledge increasing in the end times, right? Where you're able to search history, like and I'm just using them as an example. Like Pastor Tyler been in this thing for 40 years. When they were searching things, they had to go to the library. Now, your butt sitting at home and you could just go right on your phone or your laptop and go search these things. Internet is way faster, right? Knowledge increased. Now I'm just reading this like ChatGPT. They trying to get a little slick with it. Proverbs 8:12 it says, I wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. Wisdom, the interpretation they give, wisdom is connected with clever inventions. AI can be seen as one of the witty inventions born from human wisdom. Now, as soon as I leave this app, it's gonna cut that off. So I'm gonna go to Proverbs 8:12 in a blue letter. Proverbs 8:12. In Proverbs 8:12, it says, I wisdom dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. In the NLT, I wisdom live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment. Now let's look up this word witty. H4209, witty inventions.
Strong's H4209.
Mezama. So witty is discretion, device, plot, discretion, devices, evil devices, mischievous device. Wait, hold on, wait a second. I want to read this in the KJV and the NLT. This is Second Corinthians. So it says mischievous devices or evil devices. Let's go to Second Corinthians 2:11. In the KJV, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. In the NLT, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. How he not going to outsmart you, right? Because you might be of the elect, you might be a true believer, and he's not going to outsmart you because you hold on to the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, right? Especially for you men that that is the teacher, the ambassadors, the preachers of his word. I want to go back to I want to go to First Corinthians 10. I mean Second Corinthians 10. Second Corinthians 10 in verse 3. It says, for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High, to pulling down of strongholds. Yes, strongholds is these false teaching, these false beliefs. But another strongholds is Esau's wicked devices, right? Because a lot of Jake is amazed. You remember what we said? What was they wasn't impressed, and I looked up impressed where you're amazed, right? A lot of Jake is amazed by technology. It's a lot of kids that want to be streamers because they're amazed that you can act yourself on stream. You got some Jake that they say they straight, but they act a little sweet just to make people laugh. They can be themselves. Just and be yourself and get money. Be stupid and get money. Right? They're not outsmarting Esau because they're not looking at all of this. We just looked up in Chat GBT where it said that online buying grew higher when the Seabiscuit came. That had to be an experiment. Uh-oh. We're not ignorant to Esau's devices. We got these strongholds. We pulling down his device that's going to lead us to this MOTB. What I wanted to say, okay, let's ask this question, man. Let's keep it a secret between you and I. Come on, let me get it. Was the Seabiscuit and an experiment? Dang, for Yeah, so they of course they're gonna say no evidence. They like to what is it saying? Um, let me do this because our enemies is crafty. Let's go to Sirach, the 12th chapter. I'm trying to ask it some deep question, and of course, it's gonna give me the answer. There's no evidence on this, But Esau, uh, tongue is falling on himself. But this Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10, it says, "Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Right, and you got to think. If anybody know metal, you go look at your car. You bought your car, you didn't get that rust spray. Look at the bottom of your car; it get rusty and rusty. You buy a new car, the damn what is it? The brakes or the rotor start getting rust on the outside. That be that metal. And Esau, your who is your true enemy, you know, his wickedness is like compared to rust. And it just keep getting rusty and rusty and rusty. Right? So you can't put it past him with the sea biscuit. How that just came out of nowhere. Right now everybody gotta go distance, and now that's not happening anymore. But they always saying that they made a new biscuit, a new biscuit. When you hold on, this is how I know. Because you gotta look at it in the spiritual aspect. Esau trying to work the end game. Because it even say in Revelation 11:11 that those those two prophets, symbolic to the 12 tribes, they're getting the breath of life, and those that afflicted them, those prophets are still on their feet, and those that was afflicting them are that they're in fear. So the elites is in fear that now this truth is coming out. I can't hide this truth from them. They're watching. Right? A Juju being and the Alphabet Juju being, they own their CEOs, their directors, their presidents of YouTube, TikTok. Right? This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. But the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of the Most High, for they are foolish unto him, neither can he know them because they are spiritually discerned. So you got to have spiritual discernment to understand that the sea biscuit was an experiment. See how many people gonna do it. Don't you know the sea biscuit was mandatory? If you had a job, you had to get it. It's people that took it and because of their job, and guess what? Now their job don't require it. Now you got it. It's an experiment, man. Yo, it was an experiment doing chemtrails, but they didn't ask for your permission, right? It's a test run. America is a business and it's a test run. Back then, music, you couldn't have women nipples out, butt naked. You couldn't even smoke a blunt. They seen that they can make more money off of provocative, right? Guess what? That shit, it went up, right? Dropping down to 16 in Sirach 12. An enemy speaketh sweet with his lips, but his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. Guess what? He was imagining with this sea biscuit. Let's see how many jakes we can get. What did Bill Kill Gates say and his wife? I think the black African Americans and the Latinos, they should be the first to take the sea biscuit, especially the new one, because their immune system is weak and they're more uh, because of their immune system so weak, they're more accountable to probably get it first out of everybody. But when you look at the statistics, they say Caucasian race was percentage was high in getting the sea biscuit. Right? So they imagine if how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Let alone he put you in a trap. He had Donald, them fools let immigrants in, and then Donald Duck kick them right out. This how you know Esau and them they don't think alike. Got all those Northern Kingdom immigrants. Majority of them is Israelites. Got them over here in America. They living a little better life, and they think they was all good. Guess what? Esau, you can't trust him. This is why the world is waxing worse, because the wisdom and knowledge and understanding is not given to all everybody. Who's really waxing great? Wisdom of Solomon 6:24. The wise is the welfare of the world. Really, they're the welfare of the world of Israel. John 3:16. They the welfare of the world of Israel. You know, later on, the elect under the wise king, they're going to be the welfare of the world under Hamashiach Yahushai. But right now, the elect is the welfare of the world of Israel, and the world of Israel is the elect. Come on, man. And the wise is the prophets out of all the elect. The apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers of his word. So when we dissect Wisdom of Solomon 6:24, the wise is the welfare of the world. John 3:16, the world that he died, uh, uh, for God so loved the world, he loved the world of Israel, that he gave his only begotten son. Yahushua said in St. John 17:9, he said, I pray for them, I pray not for the world. Yahushua wasn't praying for the world of Israel because he understood and knew that the whole world of Israel won't be saved, only the elect. So the wise of the world of Israel is the elect prophets, and they're the welfare of the rest of the elect, because all Israel is not going to get it. Right? The Lord loveth him that dwell with wisdom. Not all Israel is dwelling with wisdom, only the elect. Dang, that just hit even more. The wise is the welfare of the world, and they're the welfare of the world of Israel. And the Lord loveth him that dwell with wisdom. And the only ones on this side that's going to dwell with wisdom is the elect man, the 144,000, which is the wise that is the welfare of the world of Israel. The other men of the elect, the women and the children that believe. Come on. Hold on. That way, I gotta think I'm thinking of this one now. What is it? 1 Corinthians 1:21? Or is it 18? 1 Corinthians 1 and verse 21, it says, For after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not God. Right? So the wisdom of this world, they don't know Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. I don't matter what degree you got. Theodore Roosevelt said, a deep understanding, the deep understanding of the Bible is better than a college education or a college degree. So we over here cooking. Not, I'm saying we, dealing with the men that's bringing forth sound doctrine, 100% truth, starting with the apostles to higher on down. Right? For those that's new watching, well, I always speak on them because those are my teachers. Right? The Lord moved me around and allowed me to see my teachers, allowed me to see the real men of the Lord. By faith, I know that these are the men of the Lord. We can go ask ChatGPT, what is a true prophet? A true prophet is not like by many. The true prophet is going to teach raw and rare understanding, right? And they're going to only teach for the elect. Those are the true prophets. And I know 100% plus 100% times 3,000 times the second power. Those are the men of the Lord and the men underneath them and the affiliates, man. Right? So the wisdom of this world cannot understand Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So 1 Corinthians 1 and 21, for after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not God, knew not the Most High. It pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. Oh, this brother going here and there. Guess what? This is only for them that believe. So if you believe, you were following along. If this was a chapter lesson, I would have said the epistles of Paul or this and this and that. But even if I go into a chapter, I'm going to precepts to give understanding. If you was following along from precept to precept, you didn't hear me say side note. You got to hear how I was breaking it down, how I was lining it up. These scriptures is a puzzle. So everything that was said is only for them that are going to be saved. Right? Let me read another one to counter that. Counter that in righteousness, not in a negative way. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3 in the NLT. It says, if the good news is throughout the whole Bible, we preach is hidden behind a veil, which that veil that Yahweh Shai went through in the spirit. It says it is hidden only from people who are perishing. Right? Yahweh Shai went through that veil. If you can't understand Yahweh Shai, you are perishing, which consumes the whole Bible, because Yahweh Shai is the volume of the book. So if this gospel is hidden from you, you perishing. You're a dead man, woman, child walking. That might sound harsh. It does. But who cares? Because that's in the word. The Lord ain't saving everybody. No. That's why it's very terrifying. You want to solidify your spot in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. What is it? First or second Peter's chapter 1, verse 10 in the NLT. It says, work hard among those that are called and chosen to make yourself worthy. Right? Verse 4 says, Satan, who is the God of this world, lowercase g, has blinded the minds of those who don't believe. That's the left-hand side. It says they are unable to see the glorious light, which is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's how, the lesson, Lord willing to upload, Jake can't see none of this because the left-hand side really blinds you from even seeing this. It says the God of this world blinded the minds of those that don't believe. This ministry is for those that believe. You that don't believe, if you not seeking, you not talking about the Lord, you don't want to understand it. It is hidden from you because you don't believe. They that are unable to see the glorious light, wisdom, knowledge, understanding. Who else? Yahweh Shai. Of the good news, they don't understand this message about the glory of a Mashiach, who is the exact likeness of the Most High. You see, we don't go around preaching about ourselves. We preaching that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is Lord, and we ourselves are servants of Yahweh Shai's sake. Right? And what they talking about is they're making themselves of Yahweh Shai. Right? When you look at Acts the 5th chapter, when Gamaliel was talking about, you remember these men that was speaking of whatever they were speaking of in their teaching, all their teachings came to naught. But if these men right here that y'all put in prison, if their word be of God, we're fighting against God. But if it's of man, it's gonna come to naught, just like the rest of them. So we're not speaking of our own thing. Paul wasn't boasting of himself. He didn't say pray to me, pray through me to Yahweh Bashem Shai. No, you gotta pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Paul didn't even make himself of that number, even how studious he was. Even though he was the head of teaching the gospel to the Gentiles, he still felt like he shouldn't even be called an apostle. I'm the least of all of them. Humbly speaking, this preaching is not of me. Yahweh Shema Shai Allah aligned me in this thing. And I came years later. The apostle's been in this for 40 years. When you really calculate, the truth only been out here for 56 years. That's not long. Let's subtract that. Let's subtract that real quick. 2025 subtract 56 years. That's 1969. Come on. 2025 subtract 1969. That was the establishment of One West. The truth. Oh my goodness, man. We've been in this captivity for 599 years. Next year marks 600 years being in the hands of the Europeans. But America was only established for 249 years. Next year marks 250 years. And being in the Europeans, these Edomites' hand, next year is going to mark 600 years. Look how small it was for us to be in this truth. And look how long we was in this captivity. Look how long we was without knowledge for 350 plus years. And it only took this much years for the truth to be out. And it did way more damage than what Esau. I mean, it was already written that the elect was going to be consumed. So the damage that they're doing is not even compared. It's not even compared. 56 years. Let's look at what 56 means spiritually. Please stay with me, man. Please, Lord willing, y'all stay with me. Uh, So what does 56 mean spiritually? So 56 can carry several spiritual and symbolic meanings depending on the context and belief system. Here's a breakdown right on it, right? We just eating the meat, spin out the bones, right? Five we know represents power, right? But it says five represents freedom, change, adventure, and personal growth. Six symbolize harmony, home, responsibility, or nourish. Um, if we look at angel number 56, positive life change are coming. That's the kingdom, Yahweh Shai. Oh man. You're being guided towards financial and emotional stability. That's in the kingdom. Keep your thoughts positive to manifest abundance. Uh, oh, wow. Okay, so I'll try to look it up in the Hebrew meaning for it. So the gematria 56 can correspond to different Hebrew words depending on how the value is calculated. One common way is to find words whose letters add up to 56. So example, Hebrew words with value 56, meaning all or everything. 20, 6, 30, and they give you the symbol of it, Kol, Kol, Lord, I said it right, and it means it equals 56. But spiritual meaning, this implies wholeness, totality, divine completeness, everything is included, or all in compassing, meaning iniquity, emptiness, trouble. This has more negative connotations. Dang. You got another spiritual meaning, a call to unity or fullness, a warning against empty and vanity. Right? I had another one. Where was it? What did it say? It says a sign of new beginnings. That's about it. But if you really look at 56 years, this the new beginning is when it started in 1969, really in the late 50s with Abba Bibbins. But 1969 is that new beginning, man, where now the truth is out. The men of the Lord is on the highways and byways teaching. Now we're going to see actually new beginnings. Let's go to that precept. It says Isaiah 30 and 20. It says, and though Yahweh Bashim Shai give you the bread of adversity, the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers. This is what I said earlier. I'm saying it in faith and confidence through the Spirit. I see my teachers, right? From the elder apostle Tahar on down in Great Millstone, even the affiliates. Even though I'm calling myself a prophet or a teacher, I'm watching other teachers, right? Younger, older, right? I know that these is the men of the Lord, even the brothers that I labor with, right? Salaki, even the brothers that I labor with. This is my intake from what I'm able to see and from the fruit of the spirits, how these brothers walk, how they talk, their demeanor, right? I can see it. I'm not no angel from the heaven. I'm not Yahweh Shai. I'm not Yahweh, right? I didn't go and have an outer body experience, but by the fruit in the demeanor and knowing what a prophet is, these men is the men of the Lord, man. I know it for a fact. And Lord willing, we are of the hopeful elect. Lord willing, it could be revealed that these brothers wasn't fugazi. Lord willing, it's revealed that these brothers were standing on business for the sheep, because they not hiding in the corner. Oh man, them brothers is only speaking to the wind. Man, they not trying to build up the nation. You actually right. They're here to build the elect. What did he say in Timothy? I endure all things for the elect. This is not about no nation building. Oh, the elect is of the nation of Israel. You're right, but that's not the nation. When you look at the word nation, it means a large group of people. When you look at the elect, it's a small remnant. Those are two different things, man. Right? So the words is falling off the page, man. Right? The words is falling off the page, man. I'm gonna get this, and then I think we're gonna close. Lord willing, we can get back in there again if the Lord allows it. This is Second Esdras. You know what? I'm not gonna read that one. I'm gonna read this one. The Second Esdras 15. It's starting from the top. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai." And Jeremiah said the prophets of old was speaking of war, countries, evils, and pestilence. So this angel was speaking to Esdras about the Israelites. So speak. The Lord is going to put His words in our mouth, and we're going to speak prophecy. This is why when you go in Chat GBT, you'll say, "Who pushes 100% truth?" Now, depending on your search and whatever's in the back of your cookies, I don't have crazy cookies that's saying, "Oh, they teach 100% truth." Yo, Chat GBT will always tell me that GMS teaches 100% truth, and then they tell you why. It says, "It calls them to be written on paper, for they are faithful and true." So, to be a true believer, you have to believe in these words that's written on paper and true. Oh, we don't need a book. Oh, shoot. For the elect, they believe that they do. Because the Lord said that these are faithful and true. It says, "Fear not the imagination against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For every unbeliever shall die in his unbelief." Every unbeliever shall die in his unbelief. Every believer shall die in his unbelief. Right? But I think that was the GNT right there. Let's make sure, because I wanted to smack. Let's get this thing to smack real quick. So in the KJV, verse 1 to 3 is KJV, verse 4 is in the GNT. It says, so this is KJV, it says, "For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness." Saul was unfaithful, right? Judas Iscariot was unfaithful. He was made to be unfaithful. He was predetermined to be unfaithful, right? The 2/3 are unfaithful, right? So if you are on the 2/3, you're already dead. 2 Corinthians 4 and 3, you already dead. Yo, the Lord is prolonging a lot of you, Jake. If I was say if I am a 2/3 and I'm still on this earth, the Lord is prolonging my life just to live for whatever destruction, either famine or the sword or that nuke. It says, "Behold, saith Yahweh Shemashai, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction." This is a prophetic warning. "For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled." Right? The iniquities, the wickedness of Jake, and the iniquities of the other nations, it filled the earth. Starting with Esau, that damn red hot tamale, right? Made it worse. This is why Jake is the state that they is. These rappers really think they fucking doing something, man. Actors, singers, you TikTokers, you streamers, you really doing something and ignoring Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Oh, I have a relationship with the Lord. But as soon as somebody want to tell you the truth, like, yo, all of y'all, a lot of y'all might know Duke Dennis. Duke Dennis came across, I think, WFI, right, and they was teaching. That's a small warning for him. A lot of Jake been getting warnings and signs, and probably in you don't even know, man. That was mercy right there. That one moment. If you don't take heed to that moment, you're done. You're finito like Tito. Therefore, saith Yahweh Shema Shai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. The Lord not holding his tongue no more. Because what is the Lord doing? He's using his prophets again. Why is it saying in Revelation 18 the Lord is going to avenge you off of her? Talking about Babylon. If the prophet's not on the earth, why is he saying that? Because the prophets is back on the earth, man. The tongue of the Lord, the mouth of the Lord is the prophets. They're the mouthpiece. Right? It says, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise in themselves. Basically, the exercise you working out, you practicing, right? A lot of y'all are exercising your wickedness, man. Right? It says, behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. So those that's in the spirit world, their blood, if they got shot, right, their sickness, they crying unto the Lord, and the souls of the just, the righteous, are complaining continually. Right? I believe that I'm righteous through Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, but I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect in the law, but I'm perfect when it comes to sound doctrine. Under the sound doctrine that was given from the elder apostles on down, the souls of the just is crying. Right? When you go to Romans, the eighth chapter, it tells you that your spirit make intercessions to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai on your behalf. The spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is crying. Yo, you see what they doing down here, man? Sometimes you praying for this and your spirit praying for that. You asking the Lord for this and your spirit want this. Right? You asking the Lord to guide you in a lesson, and your spirit is asking for this lesson to come out. Man. Your spirit is crying out to the Lord, man. Even those that's in the spirit world, if your auntie was in this truth, her spirit is crying to the Lord. Oh, what the hell is going on in this place? If she not in the truth, her spirit is not crying out. Abel was a righteous spirit. What did the Lord say to Cain? His blood is crying out to me, because he was righteous. He was considered righteous. You know, Paul was getting afflicted. He went in the spirit world getting stoned, then came back to life, then got beheaded. Guess what? His spirit was crying out to the Lord because he was just. Right? So you that's of the faith that's still living, even your children going to school, they got your son, he got a guy, oh, will you be my Valentine's? The spirit of the Lord that's on that child is probably bringing up is calling on Hebrew curses on that mother sucker, man. For real, right? When that dude at work was doing whatever he was doing, and speaking like, oh man, I don't want him to be a road tender. He was speaking negative about me. I think the first week or the second week I was working, yo, I don't know, but I'm gonna just use this as an example. The spirit probably within me, or the spirit in Yarmayan, because he heard that he was talking. Guess what? His finger got cut at work. Soon as he started talking trash about me, finger, literally, man. Keep playing if you want to, man. The spirit of the just is crying out to Yahweh Shema Shai on the daily. Yo, that's another thing. Your spirit is lively, right? The spirit of the elect, your spirit not dead. I'm bored. No, your spirit is lively because it's connected to Yahweh Shema Shai, just like Wi-Fi. Actually, better than Wi-Fi. You know, it's connected to the Lord, man. Right? How? Bro, I'm tired, but I'm not tired. Getting out of work, what draws you to work 12 hours? You still up from 154. And at work, talking to brothers, the way I was talking, just like regular talking, hearing the word, then had to stop hearing the word. Soon as I chill or just I start falling asleep. I fell asleep at work today because of all that damn chaos at work. I'm not feeling no tiredness, but just a minute in the car, yawning, dozed off for 5 minutes. Then I hurried up and did a lesson, got that boat of energy, and I said, dang, I gotta do a live. And I'm gonna show you that I did a lesson. What is doing that? I'm nobody. I'm just using this as an example. I am no